So for your first homework assignment, you are to take images and make them black and white and then add color to them through the layers. So let's just talk about two different ways that you can make an image black and white, or what to look for if you found an image that is already black and white. As I mentioned in the previous video, if you are searching for images online, make sure you are going to Tools and you are choosing the size as large. And then you can do anything from right click on an image and say copy, or save as, download it, move it to your Dart 100 folder. And if you do copy, then you come over to Photoshop and you do File, New, and it's going to be the same size as whatever you copied. Hit Create and paste it in. So here I already have a couple of images to work with, and this image is a black and white image that I found online. And I wanted to point out that this up here, when I'm looking up at the tab, says grayscale. Notice all of my other images say RGB, and this one is black and white, and it also says RGB. So the grayscale image, I have to pay attention if I have one like that, because if I take my paintbrush and I try to paint on a color, for example red, it just comes out grayscale. So I'm going to open up my history panel and I'm going to step back a step to undo that. So in Photoshop, Command or Control Z, whichever you're used to doing, either on a Mac or PC, only works for one step. If you need to go back multiple steps, then you're going to use the history panel. So if I have an image that I got from online and it is in grayscale already and I cannot add color to it, then I have to go up to Image, Mode, and change it to RGB. Now nothing's going to look different, but now it just simply allows me to add color. So when I take my red and I try to paint over it, oh, that came out as black. Let me undo that. And now it paints red over it. Okay, and again, I'm going to go through my history panel and get rid of that. So that's just something to look for. So you might just look for images that are black and white and bring them in. But I would like you to try this other method. So get a color image, and we're going to go over two ways to convert it to black and white. The first way is what I just showed you by the image mode. Go up to Image, Mode, and change it to grayscale. If you have any other layers, it's going to ask what do you want to do, and you can say flatten or don't flatten. Discard, that's fine. Now it's grayscale, but now I can't add color, so I just would have to go back up to Image, Mode, and change it back to RGB. And now, even though it looks like it's grayscale, now I can add color to it. So that's one way to be able to convert your image to black and white, then be able to add color onto it. The other way, and I'll go through the history panel here, I'm going to go back to the step before I made it grayscale. I'm going to go back to Paste, and that's in color, is using my Layers panel. Bring that over here. Oops. Down at the bottom of my Layers panel, I have what I call the black and white cookie. Looks like that. If you're familiar with black and white cookies, it's a circle that's half black, half white. And if I click on it, I get a list of all of these different adjustments that I can make to my image. These adjustments will all come onto a different layer, so this is called non-destructive editing, which is the goal of this course. So I'm going to choose black and white. And notice how in my Layers panel, I now have a new layer that says black and white, but my image looks black and white. Here are all of the adjustments, the properties I could make to this adjustment of black and white. But for right now, I'm just going to close that out because it did essentially what I wanted. It made my image black and white. And if you look at this layer, here's an eyeball here. I can click on that eyeball to temporarily turn off that layer. And this is how I can see I made my image black and white non-destructively. This is a key phrase that you're going to see me writing in a lot of your feedback. It's the goal of the course. How can we do as much editing as possible without actually editing on our original image? Okay, so those are a couple of different ways. I would like to see at least one of your homework assignments with the adjustment layer of black and white. So again, you go down to that little circle there, the cookie, click on it, and you choose black and white, and it should give you the black and white effect on the layer above.